This script comes from the novel Someone Named Eva by Joan M. Wolfe. In the spring of 1942, when the soldiers came to our town, my best friend Terzi and I had spent every night together as usual. It had been warm that May, the kind of warmth that comes in late spring, before it gets too hot or sticky humid. Our birthdays were just a month apart, and we would both be turning 11, and we had spent many nights together planning our parties and looking at the stars.
I could gaze at the stars forever, searching for the hidden pictures and watching them glitter like crystals. Papa said that even when I was a baby, I would reach up with both fists and try to grab them from the sky.
Terzi didn't like stars as much as I did, but being my best friend, she usually joined me when I decided to look at them.
One night, a week before my birthday, we were outside lying next to each other when there was a streak in the sky. Oh, Melada, look.
Jabbing Melada excitedly.
A shooting star.
A shooting star could only mean one thing, that something wonderful and special would happen soon.
Make a wish.
Melada closed her eyes and thinking about what she should use her own wish for.
I immediately thought of my birthday. I knew why there was a shooting star, and I know what's going to happen.
Terzi said as if she knew what Melada had been thinking. She had a way of doing that.
Stop teasing, Terzi. Mama said there wasn't even enough sugar for a cake. How could there be a present? You'll just have to wait until your birthday party to find out.
Make a motion as if zipping lips together and refused to say anything more. Ever since I could remember, Terzi's family and mine had come together each May to celebrate my birthday, and then again each June to celebrate Terzi's. Even with the war and rationings, this year would be no different. And so, on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in the middle of May, everyone from both families gathered in our backyard for my party. I had even been allowed to invite Zelinka and Hannah, two of my friends from school, but Mama also made me invite Alexia. Like Zelinka and Hannah, she was in my class, but I did not consider her a friend. She was cold and unfriendly, and she could be so mean that even the boys were afraid of her.
Oh, Mama, no, please.
Begging, Mama had insisted I invite her.
If you want to invite others, you must include Alexia. Things have been hard on her since her mother died.
She'll ruin my party.
But Mama had turned away, and I had known there would be no further discussion. Now, as we all sat together chatting and enjoying the beautiful day, Alexia stood off to the side by herself. She wore a dress that was nearly outgrown. The strands of her blonde hair had come out of her beret, falling into her eyes. She looked pained as if she were counting minutes until she would be dismissed. I sometimes felt that way during lessons, but never at a party. Alexia seemed to like school, and she was a good student, but she was never the teacher's pet. The teachers, too, seemed to tire the way she always found fault with others with them.
Happy birthday, Melita.
Papa placed a large wrapped package in my lap.
Oh, Papa, a present.
Look at Terzi, and she winked. Babishka stood near me holding my 1-year-old sister, Aneshka, who gurgled and stuck her fingers in my mouth. Terzi and her 2-year-old brother crowded close as I began to rip open the package. Suddenly, a hand appeared on top of mine, yelled,
Gerald!
My 15-year-old brother, Jaroslav, was pestering me.
Stop it.
But when I looked up at him, there was a softness in his eyes. Guess what's inside, Melada? You have to guess before you open it. That makes for good luck. For a moment, it was as if I was a little girl again. He would push me on the swing instead of constantly tormenting me, and I smiled. Following his directions, I closed my eyes.
I think it's a doll, like the one I used to sleep with every night.
That doll, affectionately named Mrs. Doll, still sat ragged and torn on a shelf in my room. Jara constantly threatened to throw it in the trash, but I wasn't looking. When I wasn't looking. Jara let out a deep laugh. Hannah and Zelinka laughed too. And I even saw a smile flicker across Alexia's face as she watched from a distance. Then I tore the rest of the paper from my gift and lifted the box and sat staring at what lay inside. My mouth were open in awe. Do you like it, Melada?
Oh, Papa.
I could barely speak. Inside the box was a telescope. The small dent on the side told me it was a used telescope, but it was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. I know you like the stars. Now that you're 11, I felt you were old enough for the responsibility of your own telescope.
Oh, Papa.
I put the box aside, grabbed his neck in a hug, patting Melada's shoulder. I'm so glad you like it. So glad.
Here, Melada.
Withdraw a small package from dress pocket.
This is for you. Happy birthday. Oh, Terezi, you weren't supposed to.
Mama had made it very clear that there would be only family gifts. Glance at Mama, then at Milada.
Well, we're practically sisters. Thank you.
Unwrapping the package and unfolding what was inside, it was a handmade movie poster. Terezi had pasted one of her movie star posters in the middle of her drawn decorations around it to make the poster like the ones that hung in the theater. The photo was one of her favorites. It was a true gift.
I made it myself.
Hug Terezi,
It's perfect.
holding up a pan of Milada's favorite berry dessert.
Dessert, everyone.
Mama, where'd you get the sugar?
Teresa's mother gave me some at her Radiance.
Looking at Terezi's mother, who smiled.
Thank you.
I looked around at all the people at the party, and they helped me make it a special day.
Thank you, everyone.
The party used candle from Alenka's first birthday had been lit and placed in the middle of the pastry so it looked more than an actual birthday cake. I made a wish, blew out the candle, and watched Mama cut small pieces for everyone. I took a bite, enjoying the mix of tangy fruit and sweetened dough. As we ate, the adults gathered in a group as usual, their conversations on the topic of Hitler. To Mama. The dessert is delicious. To Terezi's mother, it was one of the most generous things you've ever given us at your sugar rations.
It's the least I can do. We all have to do what we can do while Hitler and his Nazis are here.
Sharply,
Hitler.
spit on the ground.
He is evil.
Touching Babiška's shoulder, Mother, things will improve. Don't upset yourself.
Let's go to the tree and eat.
I said to my guest I hated seeing Babiška so upset, and I didn't want her to hear about the war or spoil the good feelings of the day. We settled on the ground under a huge tree in our yard. Even Russia joined us. I passed Terezi's movie poster around so everybody could get a closer look, sighing.
I would like to be a movie actress someday.
With a cutting tone,
You're not pretty enough. That's not nice. Well, it's true that you have to be able to read and memorize lines to be a movie actress.
Hannah's face reddened with embarrassment. Everybody knew she had struggled for a long time with learning to read, so Linka tried to help Hannah by changing the subject.
I like flowers in your hair, Milada.
Alexia rolled her eyes and said nothing more, touching a small wildflowers woven in braid.
Thank you. Mama and Babushka put them in.
Terezi nodded in agreement, but I saw a look of longing in her eyes. She had always been envious of my straight blonde hair. Hers was deep brown, wildly curly and unruly. One of the two of us, she has made the one to worry about her hair, and when she would be old enough to wear makeup. I had never cared for dressing up or styling my hair, and I had complained loudly when Mama and Babiška had insisted on putting in a fancy braid for the party. Our conversation interrupted by Mama.
Alexia, your brother is here for you.
I looked up to see Alexia's brother Carol at the edge of our yard. He looked uncomfortable, standing with his hands shoved into his pockets and shuffling from foot. Handing Carol a slice of dessert,
You don't need to leave right away, do you?
mumbling.
Thank you.
He ate quickly, not speaking to Jaro or Terezi's brothers, or even Alexia. Alexia seemed even more uncomfortable with Carol there, and she too said nothing as we all sat quietly finishing our dessert. Gruffly,
Alexia, come.
Alexia got up, and without even saying goodbye, they both left. Although I would never have said anything out loud, I was secretly glad she wasn't staying for the rest of the party. She had already been mean to Hannah. I don't want to ruin anything else. After dessert, everyone, adults, children, dived into two teams to play our annual game of tug-of-war. This, I knew, would be followed by a game of my choice since it was my birthday.
Tag. I choose tag. Well, of course. What other games would it be?
Terezi teased I was the fastest runner in my class, and I loved any game of that involved speed. We played many rounds of tag until the adults tired and went inside the house. Zelinka, Hannah, Terezi, and I kept running around the yard laughing and giggling as Jaro and Terezi's brother chased us Finally, we even grew tired, and Mama declared the party over. So Linka and Hannah left first, followed by Terezi and her family. I helped Mama carry the plated silverware into the kitchen, but she told me I didn't have to watch them since it was my birthday. When it began to grow dark, Babishka and I sat on the front steps. I had pulled my hair out of its braid, and it hung loose and long against my shoulders. Babishka sat on the step above me, gently brushing my hair as she did sometimes. I loved the feel of her hands and the smoothing motion of the brush. Stars had begun to appear one by one in the sky. I looked up, and Babishka followed my gaze.
Tonight, you and Papa should try your new birthday gift and get a closer look at those stars.
Yes.
I could tell it was going to be a clear night, a good night for stargazing, with or without a telescope. My grandmother was one who taught me about the stars and constellations, and the stories behind them. She was an expert on stars, and though our village as a gifted storyteller. We had many nights on the porch looking up at the sky together. I hoped to just be like her someday. I loved that we already shared the same name. I had been named Malada after Babishka, who had been named after her mother. To find out more about how Malada gets a new name from the League of German Girls, then read Someone Named Eva by Joan M. Wolfe.